Back again with Taylor Bradford of the Gloucester Daily Times. She has a full slate for us today, so let's get right to it. Right up the top, the property at Cape Ann's Marina Resort.
Yeah, so this story has been going on for about a year or two now, right? Back in the fall of 2019, Cape Ann Marina's resort announced that they were planning to build an indoor boat storage unit that would house boats during all seasons, but preferably right during the winter to keep those boats, both commercial and recreational, safe from the cold weather that we're experiencing now. And as I spoke with Tobin Dominic over there a couple days ago, she had mentioned just how this is such an important part of the industry here in Gloucester, as a lot of boats will often leave the city in order to find proper housing. And so to be able to do this in-house in our city is really important, and is a great opportunity for both for the marina and for those who own the boats to be able to stay even more local as they look to get on the water this summer. And so the boat storage proposal has a lot of things, but with any building project here in the city, height seems to be the biggest conversation starter, middle, and ender. And so the boat storage unit is looking to be a 34,320 square foot indoor climate controlled boat storage over at 99A Essex Ave, which is right down the road from their current location at 75. And the height of the building, right, the peak height of the new building is set to be 53.5 feet high. And so it's going to be pretty high, and that's what I kind of want to get to. The next point is the concerns of residents, both current and former residents of Gloucester, having a multitude of concerns just about the fact that this building will be so tall, and their concern is that it's going to obstruct views, that it's going to create shadowing, that they're going to lose a lot of the sight and what makes Gloucester Gloucester. And another concern is that, if this building project gets passed, right, in the height ordinance, they're able to exceed the height ordinance. What makes another project not say, hey, I'm going to come on in and use that project as an example? I feel like this is something that we hear time and time again as a concern of residents who are concerned that, the city of Gloucester will just get bigger and taller as developers come in and want to build things. Now, this is a local company, and so Tobin's saying that they have really done their research, put in the time and the money to make sure that they're doing this project right, and that they're doing it right within the parameters that the city has set, and that they're here for both their local and their kind of outside clients. So she says she wants to emphasize that they're here for the city, but this is an opportunity that they really can't pass up, and something that the city needs. So I think it's an interesting conversation. It's one that's going to continue. I know that residents formed a petition that has a lot of signatures to the city council imploring them not to pass these special permits that she's requesting. But that public hearing has been pushed back to February. So we'll see what that discussion looks like down the road.
What's up with the housing situation at Gloucester Crossing?
So just as the boats over at Cape Ann Marina have a halyard, right, the rope that pulls the sails up, there's another halyard here in the city, and that's the 200 units that are set up at Gloucester Crossing. Now that's Dolben, who is a company that has offices both in Massachusetts and Maryland, have been building apartment units for quite a while now in that location. As we see the Cape Ann Y rise up, we also see these apartment units rise up, and wondering when they're going to be opening. And now 200 apartments there, 30 of them being rented at 80% the area median income, are now up for lease. So people can apply to lease and rent those apartments. Obviously, they're not opening up those places to move in as of right now. They're saying April 1st is their projected opening date for their first residents. And there's a lot of different, I think, amenities that these residents will get that other people in the city don't get, right? So they have a lounge area, they have a fitness center, they have a very chic, state-of-the-art kind of, I think, hip kind of style to their apartments, but they also have locations, right? They have the Y right there. They have the grocery store right there. So I'm curious to see, and this is something I was talking with somebody earlier today about, was who is going to live there? Like, what are the residents going to look like who move into those specific locations? Because it is kind of at that gate of Gloucester, right off of Blackburn Circle and Grant Circle, just kind of seeing, what that looks like. Is it going to be people kind of moving in who are going to be working elsewhere outside the city, or there's going to be people who are kind of setting up shop for the long term here in Gloucester. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, as of right now, those leases are up, and more details about those apartments can be found on our website.
Taylor, could you tell us the range of rents that they're asking, and what about affordability?
Yeah, so affordability, they said, right, 30 of those apartments, right, is to be 80% of the area median income, and there's a lot of intricacies behind that. But these are one apartment complex of many being built in the city that are kind of using that language of a particular amount of their apartments being meant for affordable housing. So those will be affordable housing. For the cost of this particular building, in the apartment, there's quite a range. And if I can see, it's about there's a range between about $1,600, $1,700 to $2,400 is the kind of the rent range, and that's going from like a studio to like a 3-bedroom apartment. So it's still quite expensive. That's not short change. That's not just change in a pocket. So curious to see what that looks like for maybe those who are applying for affordable housing. In those, will that reduce? Is there kind of a relief for those who can't afford that, who want to live there? But as of right now, that's kind of what they've budgeted and what it looks like. And for the amenities that you receive, if you're not thinking about affordable housing for a second, they're getting a lot for the space in which they're living, but it is quite a bit of money to live here in Gloucester, to kind of have a view of a Rotary. So, but we'll see what that looks like and who moves in and how they do down the line. So,
right.
And important to note that area median income or average median income, Gloucester and the Cape Ann were lumped in with the rest of the North Shore, including Boston, which is why those numbers seem elevated.
Right. Right.
Okay, Taylor, it's a week of lawsuits, including the one regarding Mattos Field.
Yeah, so if you guys have been following the combined school project that's been here in the city, you know that it's been quite contentious, as historically projects like this have been in the past. But a group of residents have taken it to court and have filed a lawsuit against 3 entities here in the city, both the Massachusetts School Building Authority, that's been working with the school district to create the plans and help fund the project. They're also suing the city of Gloucester and the state's Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And so this is something that is being headed up by Patty Amaral and a couple other residents here in the city who have continued to express their concerns for the land transfer and the fact that, you know, the school and the city want to build a new combined school on the site of Mattos Field and of all this green space. And as we know, right, if this combined school does go in this location, Mattos Field will be no more. The city has confirmed that they are planning to build a new softball field over in Green Street, and that East Gloucester, once it's kind of demolished, will become green space. But they're saying that this is not enough, and that kind of the fact of the matter is that they're destroying really important natural and open space land, and that along the way, as they've gone this, there's been injustices that have occurred, or kind of misinformation that's been put out there about it, and that it's kind of viable information that they decided to take it to court. And so they're arguing that the school consolidation project that was voted back in November, quote, flouted procedures, safeguards, and regulations. And they're arguing that the reversal and destruction of the protected land in this densely populated neighborhood would render an instant nature gap, obliterating the exact open space park that had been protected precisely to address economic and racial disparities evidenced so many years ago and today. So right, that's a quote from them, from their lawsuit. And we'll see what happens, you know, in the next couple of weeks and months as the city responds to the lawsuit. But this group of residents are not letting up, and you know, they have been to every single meeting that's regarded this project, and they're passionate and they care. And so we'll see what happens down the line as they continue to fight for open space, and the city continues to work to provide a new school for their children. And right, everybody wants quality education here in the city. Everyone wants to care for the city and the land, but kind of what it looks like and how both parties are going about it is just different. And so we'll see how that conversation unfolds down the line.
And to add on to this story, the traffic report regarding that area is coming to us imminently, right?
Right. So the Traffic Commission met about a week ago, and they had stated that they received a traffic analysis report from Doran Whittier, which is the architectural designers that have been collaborating with the MSBA and the school district to build this new school over on Webster Street. And there have been concerns. So as the city gave the school district green lights to go ahead with the project, they're saying slow down just because there's a lot of concerns about the location. And these have been articulated in the past. But the Traffic Commission stated at the latest meeting that these issues, the report was never brought to them in the past. That they feel like they weren't a part of the conversation when they should have been, because not only is it going to be congested, they're also concerned for pedestrian traffic, as students who live within a 2-mile radius are not given transportation. So if they don't have a car, they're going to be walking along that 128 Eastern Avenue, which is just, as we all know, pretty highly congested. And right, going back to the Gloucester Crossing conversation, we're going to have new Y members and new units who are going to be traveling as well. So a lot of traffic, and they've seen this again with West Parish, and so there's just a lot of concerns there. And so interested to see, and we will continue to report on what that conversation looks like with the MSBA and with the school district as they try to make this place as safe as possible for students and staff and for drivers, and what that looks like for people who are coming in and out of the city just on a day-to-day basis.